Hello, this is Doug Van, and right now I want to show you how to create an application or a project on your web-enabled dashboard. In a previous video, we created this account to be the Bedrock Mining Company owned by Fred Flintstone. And you can see they have no projects, no folders. So what you want to do is press the Start New Site button. And as you can see, there are many apps you can install on web-enabled. I think I know most of these, but there are also many that I'm just absolutely not familiar with. I've tried to play with some of them, but it's just crazy. It's too many. What I like to do is go over here to Target Platform and choose Drupal and take a look at all the Drupal applications. Let me give you a quick tour of this. Obviously, the most current version of Drupal is Drupal 6.19, and this includes Drush 3, the Drupal shell command line access. Now we have Drupal 7 Alpha 6. If you've never played with Drupal 7, I suggest you take a look at it. Also check out DrupalGardens.com to actually work with a full functioning Drupal 7 site you can launch. Now Acquia Drupal, of course, is the exact same as Drupal 6.19, but it has all the cool contributed modules you're going to want: CCK, views, web form, image cache. If you download Drupal up here, then you have to go through and download one by one all your favorite contrib modules. Doing it the Acquia way, kind of painless. I like it. I'm lazy that way. One click, it's efficiency. I'm efficient that way. One click and you get it all. Drupal Fusion Magazine from Top Notch Themes. This is incredibly cool. It uses a 960 grid and allows you to use the GUI to change the widths of columns and things, and it gives you a lot of CSS control and styling and theme control from the graphic user interface within Skinner and other areas. So it's really quite nice. And all your favorite distributions: Open Atrium, Open Publish, Drupal Commons, and all the good stuff there. PressFlow, of course, is a faster version of Drupal. This also comes with Varnish and Memcached. So there's lots of things you could do here. Lots of really cool apps. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and use Acquia. I'm going to say select this app to install. And it asks for a site name. I'm going to call mine My First App. Now it's asking us for a folder. There are no folders by default, so we need to create some. In my personal web-enabled account, I have a sandbox and a dev box. So I'll call this the sandbox. The sandbox is where you play around, and these are not actual projects. So I'm going to click Next Step. Now don't be intimidated by this. These are just some more questions for you. A custom name for this environment, which is a reference only. So I can call this, call it Acquia 1, as it's the first install of Acquia. And the server, not a lot of options to choose from here at this point. Only the one, so just leave that where it is. Now the shell username. When you choose to log into the shell, or if you choose to use SFTP, which we have a video for that as well, then what's the username going to be? By default, W_ precedes all usernames. So I could call this, what could I call this? I'll call it Acquia 1, which seems reasonable, so that's the username. And the app admin password. When we install this application, or actually when WebEnabled does all the work for us and installs Acquia Drupal, it'll have a username of admin and it'll have a password. So this is your opportunity to say the password will be what I want it to be. So you want to log in, of course, to your application when you're done. So enter whatever password you want there, but make a good note of it. Next step. So here's the basic information, okay? And this is just kind of look through it. So it's you're installing Acquia 1.2.27. The site name is My First App. The folder is in the sandbox folder, which is a new folder, non-existing. So it'll create that. It's on the Web-enabled development shared hosting, which is the only option you have on a fresh account. If you've purchased hosting options with Web-enabled, you'll see more options there. And the shell username is _Acquia. Now it truncated the 1 because we hit the 6-character limit. So ACQ UIA, and it took off the 1. And then the password for the admin and MySQL password is 123456. Obviously, you want a better password than that, but that's what it is. Now you click on Create My Site. This is going to take a little while. It'll give you a little announcement at the top of the screen that says your new site has been created. The first development environment is in the process of getting built. You will receive an email once complete. So that's very true. So if you've put in your proper email address for the account, you're going to get an email. Now, interestingly enough, you can also refresh this page every so often, and eventually it'll give you the completion screen. So we're going to do that a few times and see how long it takes. So here we go. It took about 45 seconds, and we have this nice welcome screen giving us lots of very useful information. Let's take a look. The most important thing is right here when it says, please save this information in a safe place because WebEnabled does not store sensitive information. This is everything you'd want to know about your site. Here's the address. So if you want to, obviously you're going to log into your site and do things with it. So this is the address to the site. The username is admin to log in, and the password is right here. And we recalled this from the previous screen, but you can click that and open it up. Now the SSH, the SCP, and the SFTP logins are all the same. And that was the W_Aquia. Now when WebEnabled creates a password for you, it's very secure. It takes 3 random words and puts random symbols or punctuation in between them. So steal, vague, .void. That's very nice, so you want to store that. And the MySQL login is the username and password of the admin as well. So they're just simply stating that very clearly so you're not confused. So this is what we have. You want to copy this and put it into an email to yourself or a text file or some such. This information is not emailed to you. You do receive an email notification that the account's been created, but they don't send. I mean, this is the heart and soul of your site. They don't send this via email. It's only right here, right now. So you want to copy that and use that information. And we're going to be using this to get into SFTP later on to make some edits on the site. So that is the information you need. I'll make sure I copied this. And I will say, I've got the information saved. Show the environment management pane now. Here is your environment management pane. This is really cool stuff, and I'm not going to go into all of it. We're going to be using some of this throughout the 6 weeks, and it's very nice. But here's the Drush, which I showed you in another video, how to use that to install modules or themes. If for any reason you forget that long, crazy 3-word password, you can always go here, and it'll create another one. It'll create a new 3-word password that's separated by symbols or punctuation. And here's something really, really cool. Right now, the admin account, the user 1 for Drupal, is username admin, password 123456. Now you're probably going to use something different. And if it comes to a point where you've forgotten your login password, because if you're like me, you have a lot of test accounts, dev accounts, and what have you, and you may have forgotten the login name to your Drupal account. Check this out. Reset Drupal admin password right here. That will reset the password for user 1. So change it to test, then you can log in with username admin, password test, and then go in and change the password with the GUI. So that's very, very cool. Very cool indeed. And another cool feature are the Apache logs. You can check the PHP error logs here and the Apache error logs and see what's happening. If there's some craziness going on and you think there could be some errors that you're not being made aware of, you can check that out. And I'll skim through a couple of these. Clone is awesome. When you're getting ready to maybe take a new module in and do some heavy configuration, or maybe a custom module you're working on, and you're afraid you're going to just blow the database and screw something up, or maybe you have a team member working on this and you're afraid they're going to screw something up, hit the clone button, give the whole site a name, my first app version 2, maybe you'd call it that, and then let them play on the My First App version 2, or let them play on the original one. And if either one of those becomes just totally bonked, then erase it and revert to the other one. That is very cool. And of course, a very cool thing to have around is the PHPMyAdmin tool, which is a graphical user interface client for the MySQL database. And many of you have used this in other places. Most hosts provide something to that effect. Recall that the database name is always Drupal. The username is the username that we used, W_Aquia, and the password is the same as the admin password, which originally in our case was 123456. So that's the information you're going to need if you choose to go into the PHPMyAdmin, which is a very cool tool. And you can bring in team members, you can have an SVN repository, you can share this URL with other web-enabled users, and when they go to that URL, it instantiates an entire copy of your project into their account. That's pretty cool. You can change the name, you can run cron, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. So, click around, look around. It is a sandbox. Play around, get dirty, break something, get it all foobarred, and just delete it and start over and play again. You've never done SVN? There's a bunch of Learn More has a bunch of handbook posts and some videos on how to make things work. Really, this is WebEnabled is your opportunity to play around in the sand, get dirty, find some new cool stuff, and use the tools that the big Drupal shops have been using for years. And you can just get your feet wet in that and have a good time. So, thank you so much. Bye-bye.